Hello, everybody. Welcome to this HR hour on the topic of job architecture and position planning. My name is Asmus. I'm your host today. I'm going to guide you through this webinar, and with me is my wonderful colleague, Marina, who will do the chat support. So we have quite a lot of participants today, a wide variety from customer contacts all over Europe. We've seen some people from the UK, from the Netherlands, from Spain, from the Scandics, but also some German Personio customers who maybe didn't manage to attend the HR hour 2 weeks ago on the topic, who I did in German. So now it's my pleasure to jump in and also do the English version for the international customers. Alrighty. So as I said, my name is Asmus. I'm your host today. My colleague Marina will do the chat support. We're both part of the Customer Success Management department, and happy to have you. As said, you have a Q&A section in the chat. So whenever there's a question that comes up, feel free to enter your question in the chat. Other attendees can also upvote certain questions, and then in the end we'll have a couple of times, some minutes, in order to answer the most upvoted questions. So our agenda for this hour is, first of all, the big why. Why are the topics job catalog and position management important at all? Why should an organization deal with this anyway in the first place? Then I want to guide you through a short setup of how do I simply just set up the job catalog, how do I use it? As we will be talking about grades, I will also do a quick jump into the topic of grading and explain you, like a grading 101 for dummies, what grading is. Afterwards, we will take a deeper look at the position planning functionality within Personio. And then, as said, there's time for a question and a short live demo. So off we go. First of all, we arranged a little poll. So the question is quite simple. Are you already using these features? Job catalog and position planning. You have 3 options, like no, not at all, not yet. Maybe you have experienced already, or you're already using this feature and consider yourself a pro. If so, then welcome to this webinar anyway. So please give your vote. It's just one click, and let's wait a couple of seconds, and then we have the results. Okay, as expected, vast majority has not used it at all, but 15% of you have at least experimented a bit, and there's no experienced user, but as I said, this would be astonishing, at least. So I'm so glad to show you through this webinar, and I hope that in the end you will see why these features are important and how to set it up and which benefit it might bring to your organization. So let me start with the why. Why is this important in the first place? So the job catalog within Personio offers you a structured framework to reflect your organizational reality. So any organization, no matter which industry, no matter which size, has more or less complexity. Of course, the bigger an organization, the more complex, the more position there are, and the more hierarchy levels there are. But even a small organization with let's say 100, 200 employees has a certain organizational reality that has to be reflected. And this is exactly what is done in the job catalog. So the job catalog offers you to build your organizational structure across multiple dimensions, which is the job name, so a specific position name like HR manager or marketing specialist or financial controlling or whatsoever. So a particular job name, no matter if it exists once or multiple times within the organization. Then you have the possibility to group similar roles into job families like HR roles or sales roles and stuff. Then you have the track, so the career track, which defines different career progression routes that might be possible within the organization. And then you have the level. A level is more or less the same as a grade. It indicates the required professional experience and the complexity of a role. So best example is like a junior, professional, senior HR manager. So it's the job HR manager, but it exists in different varieties and different levels. And the complexity of the role and therefore the required professional experience increases with seniority. And last but not least, we have salary bands. So for every job that you create within the job catalog, you can define a salary band. So a typical salary range, like a minimum, median, and a maximum. So that you have like kind of the template, and every time you have to fill a certain position, you have all these information. What's the job name, in which family, on which career track, which level this is, and of course, which salary band is typically applicable for this position. Here we have one example: HR specialist, job family HR on an expert track on a senior level, and a salary band is something between 55 and 65 K per year. So you have this, as I said, template, which you can use in order to open vacancies and start recruiting. Okay, having told you like what it is, what are the advantages for you when you take your time and set up this job catalog? First of all, you have first-class talent management because you have like transparency regarding the internal mobility. So for every position, it's absolutely clear and transparent which are the career tracks and what a junior has to do in order to be promoted to a professional, and what a professional HR manager has to do in order to be promoted for a senior role. So you have not only a structured way for you as an HR department or for the leadership team, the management, but also for every single employee, you have this transparency. Then this setting up a job catalog and the structured way of leveling jobs offers you to have a fair compensation for all, because you have standardized compensation guidelines per position that are based on uniform criteria. It's not like somebody negotiates hard and gets double the amount that somebody else gets, but with the salary bands, you have like a range, a salary band in which a position should be put in salary-wise. And of course, regarding workforce planning, you have when you set up this job catalog and you have in the combination with the position management, it really facilitates your workforce demand planning, because as I said, you have these templates and you don't have to invent the wheel every single time, but you can rely on these templates and set up workforce planning and workforce needs and requirements in a very easy and structured way. So, so by providing the standardized information, it really, of course, it is initial. Initially you have to invest some time, but in the long run, it saves you a lot of time when managing, be it job offers or performance reviews or salary rounds or promotions. You can benefit from this structured information in all these aspects. And then, of course, the information that which level, which career path, and all that stuff, this information appears as a new attribute called job title in the employee profile. And therefore, you can, within our analytics tool, you can filter by these like job title or career path. So it's very easy for you to show me all employees in this and this career path on this and that level. So it's really helpful when it comes to succession planning or promotion rounds or whatsoever. So it offers you to report and filter by these options. And then, of course, the job catalog is also the basis for the application's workforce planning and compensation management that Personio offers. So when you might consider using one of these additional apps, when you start using these apps, you have to set up the job catalog anyway. So this is like mandatory for this. So it really is helpful and beneficial for all organizations to set it up. It's included. This is like the included part, so you don't have to pay anything extra. But as I said, if you're considering using workforce planning or the compensation management app, you're best prepared if you have already set up the job catalog. So that's it. So let's take a deeper look at the job catalog. And yeah, here in the chat, you have a link to the Help Center article. Thank you, Marina. So in this Help Center article, you see everything described in detail, step by step. So I won't dive too deep into this. I just want to give you a short overview on how to set the job catalog up. So as said, the job catalog offers a comprehensive overview of all positions that exist within your organization based by these 5 dimensions: job name, job family, track level, and salary band. And it looks a little bit like this. This is just a screenshot from my demo account, but you see, like, I did some, I created some positions from the apprentice to the CEO and everything in between. And let's take a look at head of HR. This is head of HR. It's in the job family administration. It's a management track. It's the same level as a small team lead, because obviously HR is just a small team in my demo account, and there's one salary band attached to it. And so for every single job, you have this information in this overview. And the number of salary bands just indicates if there's one or several salary bands assigned, because you can decide whether you want to assign a salary band that fits globally, or if you have different departments or different locations, different legal entities maybe, and you have different different salary levels. Maybe in one city, in one location, the salary is much higher than elsewhere. Then it's possible to add 2, 3, or even more different salary bands in order to distinguish. So this is how it looks like. And as said earlier, you have the job name, which is like a designated job title: controller, software developer, head of marketing, you name it. And I really would like to encourage all of you, take your time to, like, just block yourself half a day or maybe 2 half days and think about what kind of positions, what kind of job titles, so job names, do we have in the organization, because it's really helpful to have like the status quo and think if this is really necessary, or are there job titles that are redundant. So it's really a great opportunity to reflect on your organizational structure and job names. Then second is the job family, which could be, for example, departments. Also, it's up to you. It's completely open. You also can group by back office, front office, store, or administration, whatever fits your organizational needs. And in which dimension you want to cluster these related jobs into certain families. The job track are possible career tracks. Examples here could be like a specialist track where you have all the individual contributors, project management track where you have people with no leadership responsibility, but responsibility for projects like small project and big projects and program management whatsoever. And third example could be a management track, so where all the leadership positions, from the small team lead to the big team lead to the department head to the member of the executive board, everything is on this track when it comes to leadership positions. Level, I talked about it earlier, is just a level of experience. for example, a junior, professional, senior, whatever fits your organizational reality. It's completely up to you. You can set it up in Personio as you wish. Salary band, yeah, the salary width defined by a minimum, a medium, and a maximum, either globally or per location. So here you have absolute flexibility to type in your information that suits your needs the best. So we talked about levels, we talked about salary bands, and this is the reason why I want to have like a short excursion to the topic of grading. Grading is systematic job classification. So think about it as this. Again, it's a screenshot from my demo account. As a default setting, we have 11 grades. It's absolutely up to you. You can add grades or delete grades depending on how complex your organization is. But just think of it as you have grade 1 to 11. Grade 1 is an untrained assistant. Grade 11 is the chairman of the executive board. And then you have everything in between. Up here, you have the job tracks. So you have the professional track without revenue responsibility. Then, in this case, a professional track with revenue responsibility. I just made this up in order to show you some more complex structure. The project track and the management track. And here you have the different steps within this job track. So from an untrained assistant, you can get promoted until you are a principal. When you have revenue responsibility, there's no such a thing as an assistant or an untrained assistant, but you start with a junior role, which is on the same level, grade 5, as the professional year. So you see, it's a little bit overlapping. Junior, professional, senior, principal are exactly the same positions, but it's a little bit overlapping because the overall income structure is a little bit higher for jobs which are in the professional track with revenue responsibility in this case. Here you have the project management track. You can see it's overlapping. So like a project manager is more or less the same. It's the same grade, so it should be more or less the same salary level as a principal here or a senior in this track, or a team lead for a large team in the management track. And the management roles are listed here. So just in order to give you an insight on how to think about this grading, just think about it as tariff structures, for example. So these grades are just like different steps, and you can assign different salary levels. So, and what else is grading good for? So it's not only for like which tariff structure is for which position. It's but this is obviously the most obvious point. It's the rewards. So it allows you to have an accurate reward delivered for the work that is performed by a particular position. Very important when talking about grading, we always talk and look at positions, not at people. So it doesn't matter which person does the job. It's the definition of the position that is done. So, for example, it doesn't matter if you have a PhD or not. If you're just working as a doorman in the garage, you just receive the salary of a doorman, no matter if you have a PhD or not. But apart from the rewards, it also helps you in performance development because it allows you to think about resources in order to develop skills that are missing. So you can see what resources, which skills are missing for a job's requirement and align them with the business needs. It's also quite helpful when it comes to recruiting. So selecting candidates, that you hire candidates that have the right qualification and can do the job as it is defined from day one. Also for internal succession planning, that you have a structure by which you can select successors based on accurate assessment of their level, their complexity, and their experience. And of course, you can do workforce analytics because the workforce can be analyzed using criteria that are reflective for the work being done in the organization. So you can plan with your current employees, your current workforce for the future. And of course, when it comes to career development, this grading structure gives you quite a good structure to define skills and career path and develop them, optimize the capabilities in order to reach the company's business goals. So that's, as I think, a vast, great variety of benefits. So thank you for your patience. Hope you have had a small but insightful mini deep dive into the grading topic. So now let's come to the second big chapter, the position management within Personio. Maybe the 15% who already experienced a little bit with the job catalog and the position planning might have seen it. There's a planning tab in the main menu, and this position planning allows you to have an overview of all open and of all previously open, now filled positions. So it provides you a complete overview on all these positions. It is based on the key data that you stored in the job catalog. So again, you can take a template, a certain job within your organization from the job catalog and say, okay, I want to fill exactly this job on this seniority level, for example. And it contains all the relevant information and responsibilities, like who's the hiring manager, who's the future reporting line, and so on. It offers you a variety of evaluations and analysis, and it also displays the vacancies in your org chart. So when you have an open position, it's possible to view it in the org chart to see where this position might be located. So again, here's a screenshot. You can see here for every position that you would like to fill, it creates an ongoing position ID. And then you see if it's filled or archived or still open. You see the position owner, like who's responsible for this position. You have the target job name and the target supervisor of this position. And as you can see here, there's also a tab for recruiting. This is not filled in yet, but it should be in a very near future, because what we are planning to be released soon is the interaction with the recruiting app, so that you can assign a recruiter for a particular open position. And as soon as the recruiter clicks on position as filled in the recruiting app of Personio, it's synchronized with the position status that you can see here. So you have like really a strong, much stronger interaction with the recruiting app as I said, in the near future. Analyzing the open and already filled vacancies looks a little bit like this. You have like an overview of which positions in which department are still open, which ones are already filled. And so you always have like an very on a day-to-day basis an updated real-time overview of how many positions in total, and yeah, selected or segmented by department or any other feature information that you wish. So this is just a short insight on how this looks like. Now I've talked a lot. Maybe it's time to sit back and see, are there any questions in the chat, Marina? Do we have any questions that came up, that were upvoted, and that I could answer?
Yes, we have one question that says, who can see the open positions in the org chart?
You can set it up. You can decide which employee roles have access to the position planning in the first place, but also in the org chart. Maybe we can take this with us and look in the live demo. maybe I can show you how it looks like and make sure that I give you the correct information on the ability to see an open position.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, will this work with an ATS integration too?
Good question, relevant question. I fear the answer is nope, because this, of course, is like intertwined with the recruiting app of Personio and all the or the integrations that we offer in the marketplace, for example. They only exchange job positions, created positions to an external ATS, or candidate information, candidate documents from an external ATS to Personio. So the connection between position planning and an external ATS like Recruitee, Softgarden, Greenhouse, whatever you're using, most certainly is not possible. Nope.
If there's any updates in the future, we will, of course, give you these updates too. So another question is, what happens when we hire a replacement? Do they inherit the position or it creates a new one?
Maybe we have to step back a step and talk about the position logic within Personio. So these positions that you create in the job catalog and afterwards in the position planning when you fill them, it's just like a chair. You define what the chair looks like and what its responsibilities are. It does not matter which person, which individual sits on this chair. And maybe you have exactly the same chair twice or 20 times in your organizations because you have like 20, I don't know, software developers, for example. So it doesn't matter if you hire somebody externally or internally in the succession planning. When you want to fill a position, you want somebody, be it external or internal, to sit on this chair. It doesn't matter. I would advise you to also just like create this position in the position planning, even if it's internal and someone inherits it. Does this answer your question, or what do you meant by inheriting a position?
Maybe while we wait for the answer, I will go to the next question and then we can jump back to it if we like. What is the difference between attribute position and job name in the catalog?
So the position that you know from the Personio within in the employee file, of course, one of the most important attributes is the position. Position is like free text field. You can type in whatever you want to. Whereas the job title in the job catalog is like you have to create it in order to have it selectable. So whereas the position offers you flexibility in naming a position, it also brings along the downside that anyone could type in anything, be it software developer with a hyphen in between or with an empty space in between, or just developer or front-end developer, or you name it. So what we experience with our customers is that most often, lots of times, and the longer you use Personio, the bigger and diverse the variety of job titles become, and in the end, you find yourself having 1,000 different job titles and position names. So you can use the position names. You can continue to use the position names if you want to. You can also like drag and drop the position attribute somewhere where it's not accessible for the regular employee, and go for the job title which comes out of the job catalog instead. But of course, it's up to you. You can use both if this suits your needs.
Okay, thank you, Asmus. And to the question that you answered before, Ivana said, yes, it does answer. Thank you. So
Perfect.
And then just one more question, if that's fine, because one came in just now. So the position ID is not a unique code as it is in SAP. It's a job position type code, right? It can be clearer in an example of backfilling a data developer from a specific team with only one chair of those.
So you mean the position ID? Yeah, this is like an ongoing number. Maybe you remember the screenshot. It's like PID, position ID, and then 0001, 0002, and so on. So it's just ongoing numeration. When you want to have a clearer structure within your position planning, then maybe you can just add like a numeric code for a department or position within the job title. This is what one customer of mine did. So he says like 03/1, and everybody knows that it's department 0 is, I don't know, financial and controlling, and 1 is the head of the department, and 2 is an individual contributor, or whatever logic that might apply. But yeah, even if the position exists only once in your organization, it's also would be also helpful to set up this position in the job catalog, even if it exists just one person. The CEO should be there, or 2. Also, this position also exists only once in the organization.
Perfect. Thank you, Asmus. And that was it with the questions. If you have more questions, just drop it in the Q&A feature and I will answer them. And yeah, so you can go on. Thank you, Asmus.
Perfect. Thank you for all questions that were submitted. Really shows your interest in the topic. Maybe we use the rest of our time for a short live demo, so that all the information that I gave you, like on a theoretical level, can become a little bit more graspable, so you can see how it's set up. Let me share this screen instead. So now you can see my demo account. So I just want to walk you through that you can familiarize yourself with where you can find all this information. So first of all, you go to settings, and then you have in the organizational structure, you have job architecture and catalog. And this is where the magic happens. And here you can see these metrics that you maybe remember from the screenshots in my presentations. And you have all the different job names. You have the additional information like job family, track level, and salary band. And you can manage the job families, job tracks, and levels up here. So if we want to create a new job, it's quite simple. You just click on create a new job, and then you think of which job is not listed here yet. So I don't know. Let's think of financial analyst. And this is the name that is given. So because the question with the where's the difference to the position name came up. In the position name, you could use financial analyst as well, or you could write something else. But here you create a template on how this job is categorized. So the financial analyst should be in the finance job family, and it should be a professional track, in this case, without revenue responsibility. And I would like to have this on a professional level in this case. Then you can set up the salary band. And here you see you can either go for a global band, which fits all your locations. But if you have different locations, then you can select different workplaces that you have. And here, my test account, I have the headquarters in Munich, London, and Amsterdam. So let's say in Munich, someone like this gets 70K to 80K with 75 as a medium. Oh, I have to add the zeros. So, and you can add a workplace and say, whereas in London, position like this is a little bit higher because of these circumstances in London. So you can set up a different salary band, and in Amsterdam, something completely different. So, and this information, once it is entered, appears whenever you want to fill this position, be it internally in the succession planning or externally with the recruiting. You have all this information at hand. So we create this, and here it is. Job families, as I said, is completely open. You can categorize it by department or by whatsoever, or you add something like back office. This might be helpful for you. It's really up to you. And if you find out that this was not a good idea, you can just delete it or rename it. It's completely up to you. You just have to remember that, of course, only job families that are listed here can be selected when you create a position. The same with the job tracks and levels. This is the grading overview that I showed you earlier in my presentation. You have it here. And again, by clicking on edit, you can add anything. You can add additional grades if your complexity increases. You can add a track and call it a special track. It's completely up to you to have to just use this feature within Personio in order to structure your organizational reality. So that's it. So now let's remember we had this financial analyst that we just created. We see here we had 3 different salary bands. So now let's see how we work with it in the position planning. And here, of course, always maybe as an experienced Personio user, you are familiar with this. Every time there are 3 dots, you can do some editing. In this case, you can delete it all and set it up new. But I hope this would never be necessary. So let's go to the position planning, which is here. So now let's imagine that the financial analyst that we just created, this is the position that we want to fill. So again, we click here on the new position, and then you select who's the owner. So like who's in charge of filling this position. You can select someone who's the target supervisor. It could be Eddie, because Eddie is like responsible and he's also the supervisor, the hiring manager. But maybe in other cases, although Eddie is responsible because he owns the budget, but maybe somebody else is the supervisor. Hiring manager, let's assume this is Eddie again. Then you select which department it is, in which team, where the workplace is. So where do we want to have this position being located? Just assume we're hiring for our Amsterdam office. The start date today, or this might be a little bit too high expectations. So if we start recruiting today, let's see, maybe by August 1st, we hope to have somebody on this position. And then, of course, you can add the target FTE. So whether it's 1 or 0 or 0.5, or you apply looking for a 0.75 position. But 1 as an FTE is the standard, the default setting. And this, of course, the target FTE is very, very important in order to calculate the costs of the position, because it's not filled on, it's not planned to be filled on January 1st, but August 1st. We see it in a second. Then we select a cost center where these personal costs are allocated to. The job name is the here finance analyst that we just created. And here you have like all the information that we entered filled automatically. So you decide which position you want to fill. And as you can see, it fills out all the information that you initially typed in within a blink of an eye. And you have all the information regarding track and level and job family, but also salary band. So you don't have to look it up or do your research every single time you want to fill a position. So the salary band is this one. We always go for the middle, so the median of the salary band, in order to calculate the cost. But of course, if you fill the position and then you got somebody who like really negotiated very, very hard, and you have to pay him a little bit more than the 80,000, so maybe even more than the salary band initially indicated, but you had to make this exception in order to hire someone at all, then you can enter the de facto costs, the annual salary, which is then used for the prorated salary. So financial analyst is listed here. You have it as an open position. As soon as the position is filled, we have it here with this one filled position. You see which person that was hired for the head of production. And we wanted to take a look at the org chart, right? So again, here you can search within this table. I mean, here with these 8 positions, it's quite easy to have an overview, but just imagine being 100 or even more positions, then it might be helpful to search. With the 3 dots, you can view it in the org chart. And here with this share button, you can export it as a CSV file. But let's take a look in the org chart. And here you have like the open position, and strange that there's only the PID 4. Okay, that's a little bit strange, to be honest. So I thought all positions should be shown in the org chart, not just one of them. All right. Okay, sorry for that. But let's try to get this information, because the question that came up in the chat was how do I set up which employee role has access to all of the open positions or a selection of the open positions, right? So this is a valid question that should be answered. Next tab here should be the insights. So this is what I already showed you in the presentation. Here it just here it comes. Took some time to load. So here you have like all the positions, and these are open, which are already filled. And here it's by default setting, it's segmented by department, but you could also, of course, segment it on a much granular level by team, which in this case obviously is not that useful because 4 out of 6 are unassigned. So let's stick to department. Alrighty, that's it for the moment. So by this short live demo, and again, I'm sorry for this hiccup that the org chart question was not answered correctly. satisfying level. But yeah, we'll get back to that and see to give you a question. Otherwise, to the person who asked the question or anybody else who's interested, I would advise you to ask your account manager or customer success manager in order to have maybe have an individual answer, because it's not I think it's not capable to have a mass mailing on all the attendants on this topic. Thank you. So coming to the end of our webinar, I would like to give you three advices. First, as I said, take your time, block your calendar, and really think about which positions exist in your organization, in what forms, which seniority, which career levels, and all this other information and dimensions, and think about it. So to set up a well-structured, thought-through catalog of all the jobs that exist within your organization. When it comes to the salary bands, oftentimes customers ask us in the customer success management team, like, where do we know how the salary band is? We as Personio do not offer salary information. You can buy market information at several companies within the market, but in the beginning you might just think what a typically salary range is, and then of course in the second step it might be helpful to buy market data in order to verify and challenge your existing salary levels against the market data. As soon as you have set up these positions and all that information, my advice would be to use these classifications to really boost the efficiency of your day-to-day HR work. Not only your HR work becomes more transparent, more efficient, more structured, it also offers HR a great opportunity to position HR as a strategic influencer and a strategic contributor to business needs and business goals, and to effectively support business strategy in reaching its goals. And last but not least, my advice would be, like, be open, be positive towards the new things, because progress can only happen through change. So yeah, just go ahead, initiate change, adapt if necessary, but use the possibilities that are within the Personio tool in order to bring your organization to a next level when it comes to structure and transparency. And of course, there's an academy course. Maybe some of you might be familiar with the Personio Voyage. So this is our internal learning platform for Personio customers. The link is shared in the chat. Thank you, Marina. There's an academy course where you can, I think it's 20 minutes or something, not too long, but where you can familiarize yourself with the entire topic of job catalog and position planning. And in case you want to set this up for your organizations, I would strongly advise you to take a look at this video course, and of course contact your personal customer success manager, and he or she would most definitely be happy to help you setting this up and using it in the intended way. So this is it from my side. Thank you very, very much for your time, for your interest. And our exit poll is, of course, how did you like it? How did you like the HR hour on the topic of job catalog and position management? Did you like it and are planning to setting it up soon? Or did you get some new ideas and inspiration? Or are you still missing pieces of information? And if you want to, you can also type in an answer of which information would have been relevant for you, so which information might be missing, then we can back can get back to you. Marina, what's your experience regarding the poll? Shall we keep it? Oh, there. So majority of 56% rated it very good. And then we have some free text questions by 22% of participants. We will take a look at it and get back to you. Thank you very much again. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and have a productive, successful week. So we end 5 minutes earlier, but I think every one of us could use these extra 5 minutes that we give back to each other in order to breathe through, get another cold drink, and then heading for the next appointment. Thank you very much, and I wish you good luck and fun in setting this job catalog up. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.